Hello, Christmas light community. Have you ever figured out what am I going to do with all these Christmas lights at the end of season? How am I going to store them? How am I going to put them away? How am I going to be able to put them away so I can use them next year? How can I keep them nice and neat so next year when I go together, it's not some big glob of Christmas lights that you got all this Christmas light stuff and say, here's all my Christmas lights, and you can't get them apart because it's a big glob of stuff. So, in this video, I want to show you about 3 or 4 different ways of how to store Christmas lights. We've tried about 2 or 3 of these, so I'm going to tell you why they worked and why they didn't work. Okay, so I'm going to start out our very first year Christmas lights. We pull them all down off the houses. We had 40 installs, so we had 40 different houses or HOAs, different things. And it's cold in January in the Cincinnati area. That year it was down into like the teens when we're taking down. So you're out there shivering and you're freezing and you want to get out. And this is kind of how we was taught. And it's okay. And we just wrapped them all up, stuck them in a big garbage bag and took them home. Put a name on them, set them in a pile, and next year we didn't do nothing with them except take them out of these garbage bags. Did that work? Yes. Did we lose lights? Yes. And this is why we lost lights, by doing it that way. We should have came back to the shop in February, whatever, and took them apart, cleaned them, make sure they're all dry and whatnot. When we're in Cincinnati, it's cold, there's snow on the ground, there's water, it all gets in here, you don't have no way to breathe. And the next thing you know is you have bad lights. We had about 3 sets of lights that came bad, not counting minis, but 3 big sets of C9s that the whole socket was bad because there was so much water in these bags that the moisture just killed those bulbs. You went to plug them in and not one. You unscrew one, put a new bulb in, and it came on. Wow, didn't know the whole light was bad like that. We had 3 houses that did that. So does this method work? Yes. Is it neat? Nope. Is it easy to sort? Nope, because we had a big pile of garbage bags with duct tape on them with their name on it. So, does this work? Yeah, but I don't highly suggest it. All right, so the next method I came up with is these tubes right here, these nice little tubes. What it is, it's we use, let me make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure. It should be 1.5 inches. I like the bigger tube. You can do smaller, but the bigger one works better of not putting a lot of pressure on that socket. By being a bigger tube, I can wrap it, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure right here on that socket. If it's a smaller tube, it's gonna kink it down further. So we like doing this. So they're 18 inches long. I did make them some that were 12, but 18 inches is where you want to be at. And the reason why you want to be at 18 inches is a couple reasons. First off, if you do 18 inches, they'll all be uniform. So when you come across here with your lights and back and forth, even if you don't have a full reel, you can set them up there and they'll all set nice in a row. If you have some that are big, some are short, the big ones will fall off, the whole pile will fall over. That's why I don't like using the little ones. So you want to be at 18 inches. Basically what I did is I took a chop saw, one of the saws, or I've actually taken a circle saw, mark them out 18 inches, 1.5 inch tubing. You can make these for less than $4. Cut it off, and then what I did do is take a glue. I didn't primer it, I just took glue, put a little bit of glue on there, stuck them in there, make sure they're the same way here, and that was it. Bam, that's it. So then my tubes won't, see this one's glued, this one's not. So then the next thing what you do is you go to your house, pull all the lights down. Either we're gonna go right to left or left to right. We wanna do however we do it. We wanna do it on every house. If it's just your own house, remember, did you start on the garage side or non-garage side? Something like that. Once you get that done, what you're gonna do is, you can do 2 things. You can take all your extension cord for your ground lights and that, and wrap it up first. Put all it on there first. And I actually like this a little bit better, and I'll tell you why when I'm done here. You take all your extension cord, wrap it all up on here first. All right? And you can go, if you got a bunch of extension cord, wrap it all up first, and then we can hook into our lights and go from there. Or you can do it at the end, and I'll tell you the difference between the end versus the beginning. I like it doing it in the beginning first. Take your light on there, go around it, and you can kind of start where it'll start binding it together. And the good thing about the lights, if you keep them all pointing out, you see how they're all pointing out, then the next time I come around, I can go right in there and it'll actually kind of help hold those Christmas lights in there. Does that make sense? So now I'll have this big reel of Christmas lights. This will hold about 200 feet, no problem. Our average house is about 150, probably 125 to 150 is our average size house of light bulbs. Then we can take our extension cord and run on top of it. The problem with running on top of it after the fact is sometimes it will start falling off and then it makes a mess and then you got a big disaster. So that's why I like putting the extension cord on first. All right, that's method number 2. Method number 3. So what we do is with this method is we put their name on the end of the tube here. So we'll have their name on the end of the tube here. And that way we put them in our shop in a nice little line all the way down through there and by alphabetical order. So the A's, B's, and that way when we go back next year, we can look at it and say, all right, this is Schaefer, Mr. Schaefer's, this is all the stuff we need for Schaefer. Then we'll grab a couple totes of minis. So we use these yellow totes back here for all our minis as of right now. So here is another way you can do your lights. You can use totes. So what you can do is you can take your lights and wrap them down in the bottom of the tote and nicely, neatly put it in there, nicely, neatly put everything in there. Then you can put all your minis and everything is from there. Now, here's one issue, and this is even for homeowners. This is one issue with using a tote, is this is not, if water gets in there when taken down, because when you take down in January, it's cold, it's nasty, it's yucky. So, with that being said, with the tote, there's no way of getting water out of them. So make sure that if you're taking down in the snow, that, whatever, do that. Also, one other thing on this here, I forgot to mention, we take the clips off of the light and put them in a bag or a box, or actually we put them in a tote. And the reason why we do that is the first year we actually put them all up in there, but the way those clips are working, they actually try to hook on each other and then you're trying to take it apart and it's a pain in the butt. So make sure you take your clips off before you put it on. All right. So with the totes, you got to make sure there's no water in it. You might be able to drill a hole in the bottom of it before you start, something to make sure that water can get out. Last year we had 3 totes that had water in them when they went together, or put them, we had water when we went to put up. Guess what? About half the lights were bad in that tote because that water will sit there and corrode everything in that tote because there's no air to breathe and it just causes corrosion on all your electrical stuff. So, a tote. The other thing you can do is, one thing we do is with totes we just put all our minis. We don't keep our minis separated for each house. So next year we go back, we just take a tote of minis and we do it. The reason why we do it is that's just the way we've done it. This year I think we're going to actually try to keep each individual house in their own tote. All minis, everything. So next year when we go back, everything is ready. And then we'll just have to take minis in case we lose minis in that tote. So, those are some ways you can do it where it's crappy weather and we get snow and all that crap. Another way to do it is in a box. Do a box. Get a nice size box, get them all the same, so that way you can stack them all up nice and they look pretty and you can see their names and all that kind of stuff. And basically, you're going to do it the same way with the tote. You're going to roll the lights down in the bottom, and you're still going to try to keep right to left. So when you pull out the top, it's going to go to the right side of the house. You're going to go around the house, outside the house. So next year you go right back up, and you don't have to figure out which side's right, which side's left, where do I start this line at. If you do them all the same, every time you go out, they'll all be the same, and those lights will go right back up on that house. So, or you can do a box. And the thing about the box is, the one issue with the box is if it gets wet, if it gets water. The good thing about the box, if it gets wet or water, it'll dry out because it's got air to get around the whole box and it won't hold that moisture. So, thank you for watching. If you would like to learn how to do Christmas lights, check out this video, check out this playlist up here. And if you need to know how to get on really steep roofs and be halfway safe, check out this video. Thank you and have a Merry Christmas.